Okay, guys, we're going to be working on GT40 3-bar project. Now, this is a little bit different. It's for Australia. The head casting is F3ZE. Now, I've did another pair of these about 3 years ago. I got that wrong. I thought it was F37E. It's not. So, these are actually going on a 93 Cobra. So it's going to use the Cobra lower, the Cobra upper, these heads, and he's going to have it, these are going to be done up. Now, what I'm going to show you today is a completely stock flows with the old valves. Let's show you the old valves. Okay, this is just the way they came out. I gave them a quick wire brush, and we put them in and did tests. That's how clean this engine was, really. It was these heads were really clean. They definitely have a good amount of mileage on them due to the amount of oil ash that was in the chambers. Doesn't matter. They were in good shape. They were easy to put guides in. This head that we're looking at right now does not have the guides in yet, but the other does. And all of these have actually been roughed out already. So if you want to see what one of these looks like completely stock, go back 3 years and you'll find a set on my YouTube, or I can show you these. Okay, they're actually hard to get my light in. Now you can see I've already roughed out the valve seats. Yeah, that's how much metal you have to take out, going from a 1.85 to a 1.94 and from a 1.54 to a 1.6. So what I did is I took, here you can see what the inside of the bowl looks like stock, okay? And let's take a look at, let's say, I think this is the cleanest one. You can see how they did the original valve job. It actually does have a radius up to the 45, which does help. So we can take a look at this completely stock, and this one here, I flowed right after, and I did an experiment. I timed myself doing a really quick bowl job on this, just to see what the advantages are, like best bang for the buck, right? If you're a broke loser like some of us, maybe that's all you can do. You've got a burr, you got a grinder, you got 15 minutes support. Well, it's not really 15 minutes support. It was 15 minutes a cylinder. All right, actually I did it in 14 and a half. I set my timer. Now I love when guys on the internet say, oh, you could do this yourself. I'm willing to bet there's only a handful of people that can do it, do what I did in 14 and a half minutes, but and have good results. But that's not me bragging. That's 40 plus years of grinding out heads. And how many of these have I done? I've done quite a few sets of these, so I know what they need, and I'm able to get it without a ton of R&D. I remember the last set I did 3 years ago was the first set I did with the flow bench. Now, I can remember I did a set of these for my buddy Big Mike for his 93 Big Bronco, 40-inch tires, 351, 4-speed automatic, 538 gears. And I did the heads. This was just before I moved to Florida. And I'm like, dude, I would love to get these flowed and see what they flow. They flowed about 216. That was way before I had a flow bench. 216, 143 on the exhaust. Okay, not bad for fully ported stock valve size in reality, which I did all the fuel injection manifolds and stuff. Great running truck. The only cam that we could get was a flat tappet that was emissions legal with the fuel injection. What we did is that we actually, I bought a destroyed Lightning, and we took that engine and we redid it. In any case, it worked out really, really well, and exactly what it should have been. As far as the bowl job, you can see right where I stopped. I gave the short side a little rough out, and I actually went over this with a finer burr than the intake. The intake, you can see how rough it is. It was just basically gouged out with a super rough burr, and the short side is super rough as well. Now, if I went over this with a finer burr, it probably would have done a little better, but that wasn't in the game plan. Okay, guys, 93 Cobra 3-bar GT40, completely stock. Some interesting stuff. At 0.15, it had a distinct whistle with even my ear protection on, went right through my head. Now, my memory from 3 years ago, it topped out around 192, so these are right about the same. Completely stock, dirty old valve job, not going to redo it. Nice swirl curve for a small block Ford. Remember, she dumps towards the cylinder wall, so it shouldn't have a ton of swirl, but it actually does. You can see right around 400, she really starts taking off for swirl. But notice she basically kind of stops gaining at that point, so the short side's already in trouble by 0.35. Is that a huge nightmare if the cam is only 0.44? Actually, the Cobra may have had a different cam. You guys would know that better than me. I know the stock GT cam was only 0.44 lift. Okay, how did the airspeeds look for the intake? Not bad, actually. From top to bottom, quite good, right? Not pushing 300. Pretty even on the roof. Not bad on the short side. Yeah, the cylinder wall side is kind of hurting for air because of the dog leg in the port. Makes it harder to get air around that side. The center of the cylinder has that radius that you need to kind of keep. A lot of the air wants to go on that side. To move the air over to this side is a little more difficult, but it can be done if you know what you're doing. How'd the exhaust do? Well, it's certainly better. We should state this is about 20, 25, almost 30 CFM better than a stock E7. E7's got a 1.78 valve, so this has got a bigger port and a bigger valve, and it flows better. It's a much nicer head. It actually has a very similar chamber design to an E7. Not exactly the same, but pretty close. And the difference between this and the GT40P is they move this plug much towards the center. Right, that gives you a better burn, but it does block your intake port quite a bit. Now, the ports aren't identical to E7s or GT40Ps. GT40Ps has got more of a kick out in the bowl here, right? And more of a kick out in the bowl here. The exhaust port's a different shape, but the GT40P's got a very high short side radius, but it's very thin as far as metal, so it's a little more difficult to modify. All right, back to our flows. How'd we do on the exhaust? Well, stock E7 flows like 115, so these are about 20 plus. Better. All right, no noise, no nonsense. Not bad for a completely stock, relatively small port. How'd we do as far as airspeeds? Side to side. This is the center of the cylinder. Let me think about that. Hold on. Yes, center of the cylinder. Usually this side is faster than this side. How'd we do? We're a little bit lower there. We're higher here. We're higher here. Completely dead in the center. Dead. Not bad airspeeds here. Not bad airspeeds here. Okay, so we're pretty sure we can improve that. Now, what does this head look like if we do a 14.5-minute bowl job? Let's take a look. Okay, 14.5-minute bowl blend. How did we do? Well, we got plus, we still have a whistle. Plus. We don't really top out that much better, only 10 CFM. I was actually expecting more than that. Didn't really make much of a difference at 300. Okay, let's take a look and see if our swirl changed. Okay, this was our swirls that we've already looked at. This is what we've got. All minuses. Does that really surprise me? Not really. It really doesn't, because of when you do the bowl blend, right? You're going to be taking out a lot of those sharp edges and so forth that the factory has in, and it is going to change the way it swirls. And although it doesn't change a tremendous amount at the really higher lifts, we got a lot of good sized minuses in here. Are they both acceptable curves? Yeah, they're both fine. You won't have any problem at all if you just do a bowl blend as far as combustion efficiency due to swirl. Okay, top sheet is bowl blend. We're going to compare our intake air speeds. As far as the pinch, plus, plus, plus. As far as the roof speeds, plus, minus. And our short side, minus, minus, plus. It got more even, and it's moving more air at 600, which is where this was tested at. Okay, we got our 14.5 minute bowl blend on the left versus our exhaust flows from the stocker on the right. How'd we do? We got plus, 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 1 minus, plus, 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 plus. We don't top out that much better, 10 CFM, but it's a better curve all the way around, pretty much. Let's see how we did on the air speeds. Okay, upper is your bowl blend. We're comparing these exhaust flow speeds to these exhaust flow speeds. We've got plus, plus, plus. We've got plus, plus equals, completely dead in the center on the floor again. Plus, minus, plus. Overall, not bad considering it's just a bowl blend. Okay, so if you don't have any money and you have a few minutes, you could definitely grind out a set of these in not so much time and get a decent pickup. Now, how many horsepower, those extra CFM versus a complete stocker? You guys put that in the comments, because that's actually good info. I think I'm going to do a couple of these tests just like this. I think I'm actually going to take this head with just the oversized valves and untouched ports. I think I'm going to do that for you guys, because it'll be interesting to see which one works better, right? The oversized valve with untouched ports versus the stock valves with a 14.5 minute bowl blend. All right, guys, I got a lot to do in a little bit of time, so I'm going to rock and roll. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.